The game I'm going to talk about this week, though, is I'm going 16-bit retro style again. Sorry, it's a 16-bit retro styled 2D action platformer. It's kind of a little bit like a fast-paced Castlevania. Think of Castlevania 4. Strip away the long-ranged attacks, and you've only got a short-range sword, and that's it basically. Except you've got much more control over your jumping prowess. It's called Tiny Barbarian DX. It's Nicholas published. They did things like Cave Story. And when I saw the visuals, because I got this as a review copy, when I saw the visuals, I thought, it's another 2D platformer. I am not going to be enjoying this. It put me off. Then I started playing, and right from the beginning, right at the start of the game, there's this opening cinematic of a mountain the camera is scrolling up a mountain, and as you get to the top of the mountain, you can see your character standing there, and you can move left and right, and there are orcs just attacking you from left and right. So the kind of opening cinematic is a mini game, and you fight through a few orcs and die very quickly because it's your first time, you don't know the buttons, and it's barnstorming. It's you're dodging arrows. There are huge cave trolls come up, orcs, little goblins. Every enemy has a different kind of attack, and then once you die, you're given the start screen. Basically, it is a 2D action platformer. It's difficult. Always feels completely fair though, because where you're saying about Tumbleseed is awkward controls. This is one of the best pixel perfect jumping games I've ever played. The jumping is spot on. You know when you're going to jump. You press the button at the right time, and you know you can make that jump. And it works every time. If you fall to your death, it's your own fault. You've got no one else to blame. You can never blame the game itself, which makes this game very fast-paced, because you're doing lots of jumps with falling platforms, spikes on the bottom, hanging across ropes and swinging across. Everything needs those precise, tight controls, and the game gives them to you. Now that's in the beginning. It starts off relatively straightforwardly, it's kind of each screen is a little bit bigger than a screen, so there's a slight bit of scrolling involved. But then when you get through to the end of the screen and go to a new screen, the game auto-saves. So you're always being saved at very, very regular save points. You die in one section, you just go back instantly. There's none of this frustration of taking the time to respawn and going through menus to come back into the game. It's bam bam, 2 seconds, you're back into it with full health. It does get very frustrating toward the end of the game though. There are 4 main levels, but each level is a vast scrolling map in a very similar style to the kind of Super Castlevania 4 map. It's got that very similar aesthetic. It shows your beginning point, shows your end point, then shows your barbarian walking along on stationary position, and then you go into that area, and you work your way through, finish a level, obviously coming across a mini boss and a big boss. You've got 6 health squares. So these little areas that you've got 6 health squares to get through one little area. Enemies, depending on their size, can deplete 1 or 2 of these health bars. You get health ups like chickens hidden in cracked blocks. So Castlevania. But much better. I love Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo, and I go so far as to say this is a far better game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
I can't say enough good things about the precision this goes through.
I was just going to say, as you've been speaking, I've been just looking it up here on my phone, and actually, it does look quite nice.
It's fantastic. It moves fluidly. There's no frame rate drops or anything like that. One of the things I do like about it, the levels, the level design is spot on. Every jump that is difficult is because it's that pixel perfect needed. the level design makes me smile in places, you know. So much thought has been given to the distance and timing of moving platforms and dropping platforms and spinning platforms that when you do successfully pull off this difficult area, it is so rewarding. And to make the game more visible, so you can, because you're this the name of the game is Tiny Barbarian, so you're this very small character, not many pixels high, and even in those minuscule pixels you've got this beautiful animation of all the enemies and the barbarian himself. The game is presented in this 2.13 to 1 super wide screen. So you've got black borders, regardless of whether you play it in handheld or on TV, you've got black borders at the top and bottom. And I thought, when I saw that first as well, I'm like, oh, borders, but you forget about the borders. That extra super widescreen just lets you see so much width of a level. And because your barbarian is so small, you can see enemies long before you get to them. And they are shooting at you long before, but it gives you more time to react to what they're doing. It gives you more time to plan moves to see what's coming up next. It really, really works to get well together. And after playing this in that super widescreen, going back to like just saying to Darren, Super Castlevania, it feels too claustrophobic. It feels you're too crammed in and hemmed into the actual level. This just opens it out lovely. And I think the last thing to say is just the sheer variety of things that you'll be doing in the game as well. So it's not just about going left to right there, and you know, Y button is, I think it's Y button, yes. Y button's attack, B button's jump, that's it. Simple controls. So, but you've got a combo system, so you click it 3 times, and depending on the direction, very similar to something like Smash Brothers, you pull off a different move. You can jump down and attack to smash enemies with a flying shoulder as if you're some sort of WWE wrestler. And the variety of moves you can pull off with just those 2 buttons is also amazing. But then you'll have levels where you're riding on the back of a kind of dog beast. Then other levels where you're moving up, persistently scrolling. You know, you're moving up a level, being chased by massive boulders, flying on huge bees, and just to show how much this game kind of takes from other games. There's a later section, I think it's on level 3, I could be wrong, your woman is stolen by a large monkey-type creature, and you're forced to work your way up the level, dodging barrels that he's throwing down.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like it's doing nothing different, you know. The kind of some of the bosses I came across, it's like I've seen that in a kind of Sonic game. It does nothing different to what you've seen before, but it just throws it all together in one game with fantastic controls. And I can't recommend this more than I said already. Music is great.
Wow. Is it co-op?
2-player drop-in, drop-out co-op, and you can play.
I'm convinced.
I know, but the one thing that probably won't convince you, and this is the only downside I can think about it, is price. Yeah, what a price! £26.99. I still.
Do you think it's worth it?
No.
Oh, surely, if you've been raving about that, surely it's worth $26.99 to you.
It's a game that I would rave about at the kind of price that other really good eShop games come out at, like about £12, £13, £15. Enter the Gungeon came out about £12. Oh, I'm raving about it. What a good game. It's just... Anyway, it's an old school platformer, and it is perfectly performing. It's perfectly accessible until you get later levels. It's just, I do find that $26.99 a little bit too much.
That's so weird. It's like
it's amazing.
If this came back in the SNES days for like $26.99 or something, you'd think, oh, this is an absolute bargain.
Yeah, exactly.
Like times have changed so much.
I know they have. Yeah, we picking up cheap games left, right, and centre, especially now that the sales have come on. And I'm thinking a fantastic game is too much. I've played it for about 8 hours. But the game, because I've gone back and done levels and blah 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 and back and forth, if you actually manage to get through some of the more difficult sections with no trouble, which I very much doubt, you could probably finish it in about 4 hours.
But if it's because it's tricky, you reckon between sort of 6 and 8 hours?
Oh yeah,
like
you could easily get 6 hours out of it. Yes.
Yeah, that is quite a lot for 6 hours.
You know what? That's one I think I might put on my watch list just to wait for a sale. Just to see.
Yeah, it also came out on retail, so it might be something that might drop in retail faster than waiting for an eShop release. But definitely, I'd say if it comes down to that kind of £12-13 price point, that is one game to jump on. So surprised by it.
That is some discount though for it to be that price, isn't it?
50%. Yeah, well, just over 50%. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. What if it came down to 20 quid? Is that worth it or no?
I'd leave that decision to you and your value for money. If I knew nothing about the game and I saw it at 20 quid, I wouldn't pick it up. This is such a hard question to answer. It's like, would I buy it for 20 quid now? I've played it now. 15 quid. 15 quid tops. I'd go for it.
15 quid.
Yeah.
I just think if you think it's better than Castlevania 4, then that's worth that much money. I paid £3 for Tumbleseed, or £3.50 or whatever it was, or £2.50. I can't remember what it was now. And I'm like, that is a rip-off. I'd rather pay £30 for an amazing game. It's like, that's how I value it. For me, price is important. But I just think if it's as good as you say it is, that seems worth it for me. But I'm not going to buy it. I am going to wait for a sale. But I'm just saying. Because surely it will come out. Every game goes on sale at some point. So, but yeah, you convinced me. Well done.
It would be a good game to play with David, but not with your son.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, thank you for that.